Hello, I'm EnterElysium and welcome to my first impressions review of X Rebirth. X Rebirth is a continuation of the X series by Ubisoft, and it's basically a grand sort of space, trading, fighting, exploration game. So let's quickly dive into the settings. For some reason on the menus you have to click several times, so you click once to highlight and then you click again to actually enter. So we've got resolution, anti-aliasing, full screen, blah blah blah, shadows, SSAO, nice LOD settings, view distance, so lots of good settings. Now here's the issue. I've run a fairly high-end rig. It's not insanely high-end, but it's fairly good. And I'm getting massively low frame drops and generally low frame rates, despite the fact I've turned off shadows. I've got SSAO off. I've got LOD settings fairly lowish. It doesn't perform well at all. It feels like it completely hasn't been optimized at the moment, which is very, very strange. And when we're playing it, I'll actually show you and sort of talk about when the frame rate gets really low, and you'll probably notice it even in the video, it gets that bad at some points. So let's just back out this menu. There is no FOV option, which is a shame, but it's not as necessary, but it would be nice to have an FOV option. Sound settings, nice little sliders. They are sliders. If you double click on them, or triple click or whatever, you can get a slider here. I don't know why the slider isn't available here. It seems very strange that you have to go into another sub-menu to fiddle with the sliders. Game settings. There we go. Right. So, actually, while we're here, controls. Now, I like to play a lot of my flying games with a joystick. I have a Logitech X3D Pro joystick. So it's a pretty common middle-of-the-road joystick, nothing fancy at all. Plenty of people have them, really common. And if we go to controller joystick, let's find fire weapon, right trigger, because it's set up for a controller at the moment. So if we try and map that, I'm as you notice, my cursor's disappeared because it's detected there's something there, but it won't detect the actual button. You can hear the sound of a button being pressed, but it won't actually map the button to it. So it's it's completely not working with a lot of joysticks, and that's a common problem that's been reported, is it just doesn't work with joysticks. And I actually played the tech demo a couple of months ago, and I mentioned this to my contact, saying, oh, it doesn't work with my joystick, etc. And no, it hasn't changed since then, so that's fairly disappointing. Okay, right, I could play my continued game, but I think it's best to just start a new game so I don't spoil any plot whatsoever. Admittedly, I'm still in the tutorial. It's a fairly long tutorial, and I've had some issues with it. It says I've been playing for 49 minutes, which is a complete and utter lie, because Steam tells me I've been playing for several hours. I have no idea why it only records 49 minutes in the save there, but I've been playing for a lot longer than that, so I've probably been playing for about 3 to 4 hours so far. This is just a very cursory first impression, so let's get a new game up. Repeatedly clicking. Yay. Campaign. There we go. Now, the X series' last one was Albion Prelude, and before that we had Terran Conflict and X3 Reunion themselves. Now, all those were built in the X3 engine, all those were pretty much the same technology base, so there wasn't any real improvements in terms of the technology behind it there. And that was, I think, about 7 years ago or something. Now, initially when X Reunion came out, it was completely crippled. It was completely unplayable for many people, including myself. I got it close to release. It included the Secure ROM DRM, which just utterly crippled everything.
Encyclopedia. Historical ships.
Now, the one big change in X3 is that you fly this ship. You don't fly many ships, or you don't get to jump between ships. You fly this one ship, the Heart of Albion. So instead of getting, a choice between flying fighters and gradually moving way up to being able to buy and even pilot capital ships if you want, although they were less fun to pilot because of course they were slow and lumbering and you let your turrets do the work. You fly the Heart of Albion, and only the Heart of Albion, in X Rebirth. Now, a lot of people initially were very anti one ship because they didn't get enough choice and so on. But I think it was a move by Ubisoft to try and get more immersion in the game. So let's skip past this. However, there are a number of issues with this one ship policy and their immersion.
I need help.
Yes, I hear you.
I've got system
Now,
failures.
this
I need to dock.
is your co-pilot, who spends, as far as I can tell, the entire game with you, at least as much as I've played. I think she plays the entire game with you. Now, for some reason, we've got conversation options here on this weird radial dial. It feels like it's been designed for a controller, but this game isn't available for console, so I don't know why they've pushed controller so much. The primary use of a PC input is mouse and keyboard, so let's just hit OK. That's very small. I don't know why it's that small.
Here, but I'm not sure if
it needs to scale more, maybe just the resolution.
Sure. I'm coming in hot.
So here we go. And we're about 25 frames there in that animation. So that's not good. And here we get to see the character model for the co-pilot who'll be spending most of the game with you.
How'd you end up in that pod?
Yeah, look at that face.
It happened so fast. They could
Yeah,
still be nearby.
it reminds me
I
of
checked. You were the only ship out there. We can head for the nearest station, but it'll
Oblivion,
take a while.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and that was what, 8 years
If they
ago.
come after me, then
Possibly
we're in
not as bad as that.
Let me take a look.
Oblivion was pretty bad compared to modern technology. In its time, it was good, but her face, her texture, her model itself. Let's open this door. And
if this is some
got
elaborate
26
plot to
frames
steal my
here when I'm
ship,
going to that.
you should have waited until I finished repairs.
You're not kidding. This thing's a mess.
But you have
You
to
an
look at her, and there we go.
Technician. I work for the Heart of Albion, performing safety checks
Her
for
face
working
is very
areas,
flat.
ships, production lines, that kind of thing.
And this is the problem with a lot of the character textures,
and if
but
I'm not mistaken, this
her
was
being
the
a
pride of
co-pilot that you have to
Albion.
look at
You
for
know
a
your
lot
ship.
of the
I
game.
found it dumped not too far from here. I've been
It's-
trying to restore it, and some joker thought it'd be
It's
funny
very
to
disappointing.
recode its
It's very
ID to
immersion
Albion
breaking, and because
skunk.
they've gone
I
a lot
should
more for the
probably let
immersion
my
in
people
the
know
one
I'm
ship,
alright.
Can't
less
help you
having
there.
to
I was out here looking
travel
for a
many sectors
replacement
away
high-gain
using
transmitter.
time
It's
acceleration
probably
to try and
best
get
if we head
there
to some
within,
station.
you know,
We'll get going
half
after I
hour of
warm
real
up the
time.
engines a bit.
And then they've broken the immersion by having her. And then also the... Alright, so let's... There we go. Fire up our engines. This is your speed bar. Yes, thank you very much. And also the voice acting is pretty poor. Actually, in some places it's really, really bad. And the writing and the
Sorry
repetition
about
of
that.
lines...
She does that sometimes. It's only some PMC ships exiting the highway.
I've been walking
Almost
around
ready.
one area of
Did you know
corridor
that
in a
your
space
boost engines
station
are disabled?
and
Yeah, they
had the
never
same
work.
line said at
Something
me
to
about
do
3
with-
times within the space of something like 10, 12 seconds by the same person. It was really bad. Now, of course, in this you can actually run around
What
stations,
the hell was that for?
which is a lovely
Those were
addition.
Plutarch security
I think
ships. Don't
things
just
like
pull
Mass
off a
Effect
burn
and
like that
especially
in their
this little-known
faces.
game called
Relax,
Star
they
Citizen
won't catch up for
have
a
really
while.
sort of
Look, I've got a
made the
friend
fad
on
of
the
actually
station
being a
near here.
full
Get me
immersive.
there
You can
and
run
we'll get
around
most of your
stations, you can
systems
get in
back
ships.
online.
They've really
Check
sort of
this
pushed that
out.
idea. Mainly Mass Effect, you don't really get in your ship so much, but it's really pushed
Try
the idea
that.
of having an immersive
Maneuvering
world.
thrusters should
So I
be
think
more
that's what they're aiming
responsive
for,
now.
to have this sort of immersive world. But the problem is, there aren't any controls for like actual shooting or anything. There we go, let's use our boost. So instead of Satyr, by the way, you now have a boost, which drains your shield. Because the Satyr was a time acceleration in the previous games, so that you could actually get anywhere, you just accelerate time. But it ended up with problems with everything
you do
accelerating, people would
Half
just
of your
collide with
systems
things.
were in safe mode. Did she get into a fight?
She's been like this since I found her. How about we get to that station?
But this is one of the new mechanics. It's the interstellar highway. Because all the gates are shut down, you've got this little highway to get into travel places. And you get people passing you. Now, this is a fun minigame. Either you can wait for this bar to get all the way down, or you can try and play the minigame. So let's try and play the minigame. Yay, minigame. Oh, crap. Oh, missed that one. You've got to try and catch up with people in their wake. So, here we go. We're nearly there. No one's going faster than us. And then... Whee!
That's the Badlands colony up ahead. It's not exactly a model of comfort, but it's welcoming enough.
Now, I must say, the visuals are stunning as always. I'm pulling about 30 frames now. But look at that cracked open planet. It does look pretty. This is something that the X games have always managed, is sheer prettiness. And while I may say that the character models and textures are bad, space, as always, is beautiful. Like, everything here looks pretty. Space looks pretty. Dust clouds. The effects around the highway look pretty. It's a little bit of a shame now that you have to view it from a cockpit rather than just a free-floating camera on the front of your ship, because it rather limits your view, and I actually want to see more of the prettiness rather than less of the internals of our ship. Now, what I was saying earlier about the actual decision to have stations and so on that you can walk around in, is they've decided to go for that. Let's dock and show you. Oops, slow down.
This is the Albion Skunk, requesting permission to dock.
Docking permission granted.
So, you can actually go aboard ship stations and so on. And here's the issue. There aren't any actual mechanics for fighting as far as I can tell. The control scheme, there isn't actually any like shooting or equipment things. So the entire point behind going on stations and so on is just to add more mechanics to actually, you know, go and talk to people and go and find stuff to buy. Which is meant to increase immersion, but it quite quickly and frequently just gets incredibly annoying because a lot of people will just blow you off when you ask them for directions after saying hi, and then you're like, right, I need to go through this several deep menu, and and there we go, pop in, lots of pop in. This happens a lot, and it's really glaring. This is probably the scene where it happens the worst.
Okay, guy. I'll get your ship into a decent state.
And look at how their heads move away from their bodies. After so many X games, it's obvious that they know how to do space really well, and the space stuff,
I'll leave you boys to it.
It looks great, and the ships fly nicely, but they haven't actually got anywhere with the character modeling. Like, if we just talk to him from an angle,
have you not found them yet?
Look how his head turns, and then, yeah. It feels very much like the mechanics of a game from 6 years ago. In that there's no actual like connection between the head and the body and how they try and address you or talk to you. So let's go have a look. You can now open these chests and so on to get stuff. I don't know why no one's complaining that I'm nicking stuff from inside everything, but okay. And you can see this is the sort of stuff you'll do. You'll run around, you'll talk to an engineer to get your ship repaired, you'll talk to him to get like loot or so on, you'll hire captains, and you'll buy stuff. Let's just go finish this quest. So, come back and talk to him.
Thanks.
And originally in the X games that would be handled by comming a station and then doing it in a buy menu. And if you want to actually buy produce, if you didn't have like a transport or something, that's just thanks to that.
I don't have all day. Give your ship a go.
Or we can just go in here. Now, in the original games, that would be handled by docking. If you wanted to actually buy produce, you dock and then you just do it quickly. You wouldn't actually leave your ship. You'd do it while still docked. You'd basically be sitting inside the ship and in a menu.
Systems are looking good. Weapons are working. Let's give the targeting system a run-through.
However, in this, you have to go in and talk to each person individually, and each person only sells a limited amount of stuff. And it's actually really annoying that it's just adding layers of mechanics rather than anything that helps boost immersion. So let's fly towards this asteroid.
Best check that the weapons
There we go,
work.
destroy asteroid. See,
It'll be
like
faster
the
to
weapons
use the
themselves
mining laser.
look nice, so that's a nice effect. This asteroid isn't possibly one of the better looking ones, but it looks okay. So let's switch out to the mining laser, and the mining laser looks amazing. As I said, Igersoft with the many X games have had plenty of experience and really know how to do visuals for space, and this mining laser looks really cool.
It's a shame you don't have a cap ship with collector drones. The minerals in these rocks are used in many
I've actually
industries.
rebound a lot of the keys to try and work better for me. One thing you can't rebind is you can't say shift, because I want the shift to be up throttle and then control to be down throttle, but you can't bind shift.
Did you manage to contact anyone?
There we go, I have to look at her again.
They know
Excellent.
I'm okay. I'd hate to be a bother, but could you take me to them? It's not far from here.
Sure. Given how well the skunk is performing, it's the least I can do.
Thanks. I'll mark the location in your guidance system. We'll be meeting with the Heart of Albion
And just
ship to
repeating
pick
the
me
same
up.
animation. Yeah, so I think I've mentioned enough about the characters and how
what do
they're
you do for a living?
awful. So let's move on.
Stable. The odd
Are
job
there any
here and
other
there.
issues?
More to
Yes,
keep me
I've
busy
had
than
2
make
crashes
money.
in playing
Freelancer, then.
my several
Not a
hours of
bad job if
gameplay,
you can
which
find
is
enough
not
work.
great.
My father
Admittedly, one
worked for
crash was when I was
Plutarch
actually
Mining
trying to exit the
Corporation for many
game,
years.
but another
Seeing how
crash was
stressed
just
he became,
while I was in a
I don't think
highway,
corporate life is for me.
which was very
It's gone
weird.
now.
I've also
You
had
left me enough that I can
a
choose
ship
what I
mesh
wanna
just
do.
explode into a
If you
load of
wanna spend your
triangles.
time restoring old ships, you found a good
Not
one here.
exactly sure why that happened. Now this game is $50 and €50 and £40, which is a complete rip-off for anyone in the EU or the UK, because you're paying approximately 25% more.
There's a highway should fly over to the other highway now.
Okay, things haven't loaded. There we go. That's beautiful. Fly over to the other highway. Now, this highway mechanic, a lot of people were complaining about it rather than using gates and so on, having many sectors, and you've only got a few sectors and they're mostly held together by these highway systems that you can travel inside the same sector. So the individual sectors are a lot bigger because there's a lot more stuff in one system. And you travel around with the highways. And then there's some like super highways that allow you to travel between sectors, and there's only a few sectors opposed to the many sectors that there were in, say, X3. There we go. Oh, missed that one, damn it. See, this minigame gets quickly annoying. It's just like, well, why can't I go really fast to location? We're nearly there. But it's nice that they've made the sectors a lot more expansive, because in the old X games you'd have a very limited area. Although they do feel a lot more crowded now, and in some ways this feels good, because this area here feels a little more crowded, and it's really nice to see like these lines of traffic and so on. Although I can't fly how I want to fly. Like if I want to fly upside down, there we go, and I'm going to let go, and it flips me back over. I have no idea what this is about, and flips me back over. For some reason you're not allowed to fly the direction you want upwards. It's a very weird mechanic. I don't know why that's even in here. So let's fly over to... Where are we meant to be going? Where are we meant to be going? Oh, it's over here. It's a ship. Hopefully there'll be a little bit of combat soon. Now, one thing I do really like is this. Look again, it's just so pretty, this little dust cloud here. Here we go. One of the gates that's shut down, because a lot of the story behind X Rebirth,
just come out here and stare at
the rest of the jump gates have shut down. And that's why there's a lot fewer sectors to explore. And this jump gate is such a nice little homage, and it's so nice to find, and it looks really pretty. It's really, just for old X players who've played the other X games before, it's just nice to have that sort of thing lying around. So let's fly over to this capital ship.
They'll be expecting us.
Hi.
This is Falk Borman to the Albion Skunk. I take it you have Yisha Terran on board?
This is Ren Otani. Yes, she's here.
Should we come in to dock?
I'm sorry, Yisha, but
See,
we can't
the character
risk it
model
at the
there
moment.
again, it feels...
Captain
It's,
Otani,
I know I've said a lot about how bad the character models are,
I hate
but
to be so abrupt.
how they
Time
pop
is
up
short,
there is
and bringing
very
Yisha
similar
on
to
board
the
could
old X
potentially
games.
put her and others in danger.
And
I'm sorry, but
the
I have
character
to
model
say,
hasn't
I'm
really
confused.
improved a lot
You want her to stay here?
in that regard either,
Yisha can
so...
elaborate.
There we go.
She is currently better off with you than with us.
Now the ship
Consider
itself,
this a
let's look at some of the new ships.
transport job, Captain Otani. A well-paid one at that.
This looks a little bit
We'll be
inspired
in
by
contact
Battlestar
when this all
Galactica,
blows over.
with these nacelles on the side and
What?
its ribbing.
I didn't
But
know
it
he
looks
was going
really
to
pretty.
do that.
So now what?
You're the captain. What would you normally do?
I have a freighter parked up not too far away. How about we head there and you explain what this is all about?
So let's fly to our freighter. And the ship just disappears. No effect whatsoever, it just disappears. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if it's just meant to disappear, or it's very odd. Let's avoid that hyper. We don't want to go in that one.
Has operations you
Whoop.
wouldn't believe existed.
Not hyper. What's it called?
What I do is
Highway.
find the evidence and get it to Borman.
So let's boost over to this highway.
Borman didn't pay me enough.
Maybe the less you know, the better.
In.
We're not some crackpot group. Many in Heart of Albion are old Argon military veterans.
Oh, it's frozen.
They're pretty much the last of the Argon Federation in Albion.
Oh, there we go. We're back again. And we're doing about 22 frames now. Let's
And then
get in here.
Plutarch came to power after the gates shut down. You should be happy Plutarch even tolerates your group.
I'd like to see them try and shut us down.
Nearly there. Whee!
Entering.
Now
distant
this here
fume.
is one of the new ways of getting between sectors. It's like a super highway. And it has the same mechanics for speeding up and little mini game as the normal highway, sadly. So let's try and get in it. The effect, of course, is beautiful, again.
Object information
Whoa!
added to ship computer database.
Now shut up, Betty.
Yeah, she says "now shut up, Betty" a lot. Not exactly sure what's going on. Ooh, is that a faster moving lane of traffic? Whee!
Looks like the
Ooh.
Sovereign Syndicate is causing trouble. We'd best keep our distance. Take a look at the
No,
map
let's
to check where
fight.
they're heading.
Because we're going to show you how to fight.
Station command to Ren Otani. That can't be overlooked. Prepare for the consequences.
Oh, crap. I didn't mean to attack the station. Ah, crap. There we go. We can get out of here. Just take the highway. So yeah, they've got these little information things. These little eyes appear around stations, and you've got to go to all of them, and they'll get you discounts and commissions. And it's basically like an intergalactic fetch quest. And I really hate fetch quests.
Cuspid splint.
Where are we meant to be going now? Over here. So you can see there's a little information thing there. So actually, let's pop to this one. It's more en route. So we fly towards it, and then... There we go. You unlock information on stations, you get discounts and commissions for trading. And there's a lot of them. And it's really like a fetch quest. And instead of having one station which produces a lot of stuff, or even the amount of stuff produced by one station that used to happen... Whoa, crap. Did I fly out in time? Yes, I did.
Entering frozen circuit.
I thought I'd almost missed my exit there. So instead of having many things produced by one station, you tend to fly towards them and be like, oh, you sell one thing and buy one thing. Which means you need to visit many shops. And if you visit many shops, it takes a lot of time to go around, and it's incredibly annoying.
There she is. I can't say I've used her for
Here
trading
we go.
much. Never got around to finding a crew.
Were you
Now, the
expecting
current
company?
mechanic for targeting involves
Are
less
these
clicking on
drones
the enemy
yours?
and then
No, I
getting
can't
the
say
targeting
they
up.
are.
Which is a
They're
shame,
headed
because
this
I
way.
kind of like it to
Looks
be
like
key-based,
drones
but
from the
I'm okay
Sovereign
with it like this.
Syndicate.
They have
Did
said
you
they're
ever
going to
have a
introduce
quiet
a
day?
mechanic for actually targeting. There we go, thank you for untargeting it for me. And let's try and get behind him. Oh, screw it, let's boost towards him. I know it drains our shield and we're in combat, but... Yeehaw! Now, it's nice how they explode. There is a little bit of debris. It's fairly blurry debris, which is a shame. I'd prefer, you know, a little bit more detail, but...
Thank you for protecting our station.
Let's try and shoot this guy. Come on, come on, come on. Screw it, let's get closer. There we go. Whee! And...
You should move the ship. A boarding party may be on the way.
I guess they saw a ship just sitting here and thought
This
it
is
would
our
be an
freighter.
easy steal.
You
So,
should check the nearby stations. There are usually pretty capable freelance captains ready to take charge of a ship.
Let me guess. You know just the guy.
Not specifically, but I think I can point you in the right direction.
Thank you for protecting our station.
now this is our little freighter. So we need to go and find someone to man it. Now, we could go hunt someone down by actually flying to the waypoints that it requires us to. However, for the demonstration purposes here, I'm just going to show you how you pick up people and how you board stations and actually look around. So let's go and find somewhere. Right. Ooh, is this a shop? Demonstrate the shop mechanics. Here we go. You fly up to the shop.
Trade offer stored in ship computer database.
And there we go. You can... Selling reinforced metal plate. One thing. It means a lot of trying to fly between different places. Ooh, let's try and kill this thing here. Ooh, it dropped something. Did I pick it up? I don't even know if I did pick it up. Well, okay. Well, let's try and fly towards this thing here, because I think we're allowed to board this.
Here's your credits. I don't know if the station would have made it without your help.
Whoa, yes you would have. I didn't collide with him at all.
This is the Albion Skunk.
There we go.
Requesting
Oh,
permission
frames
to
dropped to about
Docking
14
permission
there.
granted. You're welcome here. Don't be shy. Try speaking
And
to
it
someone.
took my ability to control my guy away.
Especially if it's about how qualified they are. If I'm
And you
ever
can't skip
looking to
dialogue.
hire
That's one thing they said they're
someone,
looking
I'll get a
into, is
good
they
deal.
might
I
figure out a way to
usually
skip
try to
dialogue,
sweet talk
because
them.
people have complained about it. So, there we go. This is our ship. Looking pretty. And this is a security officer with a really badly textured gun. Ugh. Right. Now through the door. Very strange plant in a badly textured pot.
While you're
And
out there,
took my
watch
control
out for
away again.
containers packed with goodies. If it's not locked or nailed down, grab it.
What's wrong with you?
Weird
If you don't
pause.
mind getting dirty, take a look in the vents too.
Weird exposition. More stealing that no one seems to complain about. Now security officer. I'm actually trying to find it. There we go. There should be people in here. There we go. And then you can do stuff like
Hello, pilot.
buy from them.
What can we offer you?
So buy specialized drone, buy standard drones. This is how you have to go buy stuff now. So let's ask for directions. So,
Sure.
okay. Sometimes,
Hi there.
where can I find?
I really
There we
don't
go.
feel like speaking with you.
So you can talk to her and she'll say hi, and then you ask her directions. And
It's amazing to think
It's-
that 40 years ago, they didn't
Really?
even have highways.
just asking for directions is a mechanic thing, and yet you can get blown off. If that was really
Stop and
immersive,
chat.
then I could
I'll make
possibly
it worth your
understand
visit
it.
if you
But
shop here.
okay, and so if we want to this weird radial menu again. So if we go to job applicant, they can only put 6 on the screen at once. So if we were to hire, say, what's it, ship crew? No, what are we looking for? Specialist? More. So you've got layers of menus there, and you can understand why I get really annoyed if you can go through layers of menus to ask a direction to someone, and then she blows you off.
Nice chat. Not.
And you will hear that line over and over again. Nice chat, not. Now, the interiors look okay. I mean, they're nothing amazing. They're definitely not the same as the outside. The textures are pretty poor in general. But they're okay. There are a lot of things like this that look really good. So they've put a lot of effort into making it look sciencey, sci-fi, sort of weird waveforms and so on. And strange. Not even sure if that's Japanese or Chinese. I'm not very good at languages. But anyway, you get my point. In that it actually, there feels like there has been an attempt at immersiveness here. However, in general, the mechanics just get in the way of the gameplay. And I can't see myself doing the amount of trading and so on, and trying to build up a fleet of autonomous traders and so on. I did in the original X games, and I had a lot of fun in the original X games, and I think a lot of people will find that they just... The mechanics in this game seem to get in the way of the gameplay in a lot of regards. And if you take away the free roam nature of the sandbox, then what you're left with is a story, and the story in the X games has never been a strong suit. The story has always been a bit of an add-on, and you never really bother with it as a main point. You always just, mostly, you mosey around in the sandbox and have a lot of fun, come up with your own missions. Do you want to be a fighter? Do you want to be a trader? A bit of both. But it seems to be relying on less of the free roam nature, or at least the mechanics seem to be discouraging that. And the story in this is not immersive enough because the characters and the focus on the one ship, it lacks the immersion to do so. I know this has only been a cursory first impressions video, but there are enough bugs. I've had crashes, like I said, there's plenty of pop-in, the joystick flight doesn't work at all, and people have had a lot of other complaints about other issues that they've experienced. And currently, especially for the price, especially in the EU and the UK, I can't recommend it. What I can say is, it looks really pretty, and the fighting is solid. So it might be worth picking it up once they've fixed the bugs, and it might be worth picking it up once they fix the bugs and if it's discounted. But at the moment, I think we're on version 1.13 already, and it's only been out for, what, like 5 days? So we've gone up 13 version iterations in 5 days. Igersoft have actually apologised for the state of the game currently, but it isn't really acceptable to release a game that's really buggy and broken. So let's... 22 frames. The performance is pretty bad, but it does look pretty. So, that is my first impressions review of X Rebirth. They've put a lot of effort into trying to make the world seem bigger and more immersive, despite the fact they're actually focusing on a smaller scale in terms of sheer, geography. Like, this looks pretty. Look at this effect here. Oop, 19 frames. Advertising boards and so on. It's more of a sort of dystopian future, and that's what they're going for with the plotline as well. And, that's good. I can dig it. That's nice. It's a new direction, I guess, but there's nothing wrong with a new direction. I can definitely see a Blade Runner vibe from this sort of orange, dystopian sort of look to it. But there are a number of bugs with it, and the people in general, both their looks and their sounds, take a lot of the actual immersiveness out of the thing. The soundtrack is, as always, beautiful. Let's just take this ship out.
Station command to Ren Otani. That can't be overlooked. Prepare for the
Yeah,
consequences.
so, before I die, let's just run. My opinion is, it looks like a beautiful game. However, I think they've overlooked a lot of things, especially, quality control, and the fact that it doesn't work with a lot of joysticks for a lot of people.
Looks like the database is missing info on local objects. You
So
should
I'm
be
not
able
exactly
to gather
sure
information on
where the
objects in
QA
stations
process
from
went.
passing by.
There seems to have been a lot of missing steps there. Overall, if you've got the money to spare though, and what you want is just a great shooty space game, then yeah, this looks pretty and it shoots. But other than that, like I said before, can't really come to a definite recommendation at this stage of it. I might do another review if I play a little bit more when it's actually been fixed, but that'll be quite way down the road since there are a lot of bugs to fix currently. Anyway, I've been EnterElysium, and hopefully this has been useful to you. As always, stay shiny, everybody.